Welcome to the Battlerap Society. I'm your host, JOJOdancer. Nome 9 went down just this past weekend. Incredible battles, incredible event. But the one that started it all off was JAKKBOY versus JAKKBOY MAINE. Let's talk about it. There is a lot of build-up and backstory to this battle that was pre-written. I think it all started with JAKKBOY possibly being in Bullpen and not getting picked up, and the animosity thereafter. Jack's been talking and calling out this battle for a long time. Fast forward to when Jack jumps into New Jersey Twerk's third round of resolution. John shuts that down. He said he ain't let that nigga rap for free. That caused a little dust up at resolution. The next day at the big payback, I think Jack tried to jump into drugs third round, and bad news, you wasn't hearing that either. There was another little dust up, another little Bullpen versus GOONIES type of beef or situation. And this all predates the current GOONIES and Cave Gang situation, which we'll talk a little bit about later. So when the matchup came out for Nome 9, I wasn't surprised. Truthfully, I thought it was going to be John and Chef Trez, but the John and JAKKBOY battle does make sense. And since that announcement, they've been going at it. The chain posts from John and the face-off with JAKKBOY all in fucking gorilla mode, standing over John. I mean, it was an intense situation. So I'm sure it was ready. I knew it was going to be a spirited match. I was very much looking forward to this match, and I'm glad they started off the event with it to get the energy up. So first, I think John wins the toss. JAKKBOY goes first. Jack starts his verse talking about John's mom, a theme that we will revisit many times. He started off with that bow to the back of your mouth line. That shit was fire. That John Legend, ready to go right now bar. That shit was fire. But then he started talking about John's mama again, and truthfully, it wasn't very engaging. That say my name bar was, it got a lot of reaction. I didn't particularly like it, but it was cool. We got a lot of Jack reacting to his own bars. When I guess they don't hit or they go over heads. And, he did that a lot. I didn't like that. That Mama Fratelli bar, I didn't understand that shit. Then he jumped back into John's mom. I did like that. Tell you, John, stop playing the bad guy. This is your last ride. The Hitman can remix when my bullets ain't come out of him. That shit was fucking fire. That was his. I don't know. Was that the biggest reaction of the? That might have been his biggest reaction, but that shit was dope. He had to bring that back. I'm glad he did. That shit was dope. He brought out the whole Miss Hustle and John secret baby abortion thing. I don't know if that was a fake personal or not, but that came out. He started cooking again. The uterus bar, the fallopian tubes, that shit was cool. I did like that Planned Parenthood bar. That shit was fucking nasty. Yeah, that was a nasty fucking bar. Then he did that imitators, the imitate. I wasn't crazy about that. It kind of slowed down his momentum, and then he had a flat kind of an ending. So it was a cool Jack verse, but I think it was beatable. So next, John comes up, and truthfully, there were some mic issues that were happening before John got started, and I think that these, looking at it again, these mic issues helped John because that extended time kind of got the crowd cooled off from Jack's round, and it kind of started them over at a blank slate. So I think that the time off, that timeout definitely helped John. So when he started, He started off with that "Be Careful What You Ask For" bar. That shit was dope. And the "Jack of All Trades" bar, that was fire. And that "Maniac," that word flip, name flip, wordplay bars, those were dope. The "Brim Off, No Capping" bar, that shit was dope. Night of Main Events bar, I don't think it got a lot of reaction, but I like that line. The "Clean Bodied" bar, that was dope. The Tech 9 bar. And the thing is, when you knew it was coming, you knew John was gonna attack JAKKBOY with the Tech 9 angle. It was just funny how Jack had this fucking big ass Joker smile when he started to bring it out. But the sing-songy bar where he was doing the "You Want to Be a Baller" and battle, you know, you finally got your battle with Tech, that shit was fire. Take my dick out your mouth and use my Glock to replace it, that shit was hard. Pause. But not a great John round, but I think I did edge the first round to John. I think his round was just a little bit better than JAKKBOY's, so I edged it 1-0 John. Then we come into the second round. Jack again started his verse talking about John's mama. I thought that shit was too much. You know what I'm saying? You talk about it in the first, most of the first, leave that shit alone, go somewhere else. But he kept coming back. He came back to John's mama. Thought it was kind of overkill. He did some Houston shit, that four eyes with the both eyes. It didn't really hit, but I kind of like that bar. More reacting to his own shit that wasn't hitting. I like that niggas on the deck, Amistad bar. I thought that shit was fire. It didn't hit, but I like that one. Then he went back to John's mom, and I think that the crowd was feeling like me. They wasn't really feeling that shit, and you could kind of see, you know, he wasn't getting the reaction that he wanted, and he was getting frustrated. He brought some shit back that he probably shouldn't have brought back. It was starting to trend downward for JAKKBOY. I do like that Can Go with the Hats bar. That shit was fire. But other than that, he ended. It was just a weak round and shit. I think at the end of his second, the Boo Birds came out. So it just wasn't a good round for Jack. Now into John's second. John, he started with a bar about why JAKKBOY always taking his shirt off. That was fire. Shotgun, got one thing straight. That line was fucking fire. The 2 for 20, the Applebee's line, that shit was fire. After he hit those first 6 to 8 bars, you started hearing the 2-0 chants. Lightly. The Goonies were chirping in the background, and they were frustrated, obviously. John just kept going. That Ficky, Pull the Buds Apart, Sticky Icky bar, that shit was fire. That Pretty Ricky bar actually hit in the room. I actually didn't like that Pretty Ricky bar, but it blew up in the building. After that bar, the 2-0 chants actually started coming back with a little bit more ferocity. And the Goonies were getting emotional. Jack had this blank stare on his face. It was crazy. Then the nigga pulled out the Walmart chain. Why'd the nigga pull out the Walmart chain? That's when shit just went off the motherfucking rails. What is it? Walmart change is something we got to deal with. That's how he started the bar. That shit was fire. He pulls out the chain, and there was just he kind of pulled the chain out and just held it out, and it was just a steady rumbling, rising of the crowd reaction for the chain. That shit just went crazy. When fucking Rock jumped out and grabbed the chain and looked at it and said, "What the fuck is this?" Nigga, that shit was crazy. The fucking room went. That might have been the biggest fucking crowd reaction of the night, man. Tay Rock, I mean, I know I heard a couple of people on the internet talking about Rock is doing too much. In my opinion, that shit, it wasn't too much. I guess backing up with his Cave Gang Goonie beef, he was on he was on fucking full tilt that night. That shit was fucking crazy. He grabs the chain, the crowd goes fucking berserk. Twerk tries to grab the chain from Rock. John stops him. Smack brings him back. I mean, it was crazy. Then he picked up. He wasn't done rapping. He could have ended this shit. He could have. Truthfully, we didn't get a third verse from fucking John, but we got a second and third in this fucking second because this shit was fucking loaded. He grabs the chain and he what is it? He drops it on the floor. He talks the dropping jewels line. That shit was fucking fire. He drops it on the ground. Loso's over there taking pictures. John's side is going fucking crazy. The crowd is going berserk. It's a fucking helter-skelter fucking scene. Then John finishes off the round with the set Jack next to rum. I can set the bar. That shit was dope. The Don Julio and Tequila's bar was dope. Personally, because I love Don Julio. And then John fucking killed it, man. This was the fucking, probably one of the rounds of the night, maybe the round of the night. I don't know. I know Nitty had some hot shit, but that fucking second by John was fucking crazy bananas. Fucking killed this nigga, man. Like, whew. 2-0 John and Don, like, for real. Going into the third. This motherfucking round, I've watched it 2 or 3 times just for the fucking just for fucking Tay-Rock. And that fucking chain, when he grabs that chain, that shit is fucking classic. But 2-0 John going into the third. So in the third, I don't know, man. I don't know what the fuck Jack was thinking about, but he jumps in to give it with this John Tech 9 comparison that wasn't working. I mean, he first talking about his mama, keep bringing up Tech 9. He's just going the anti route, and I don't know who to fucking counseled him on who he went over with his rounds, but this was just a bad idea. The Tech 9 shit, I don't think he should have brought that shit up at all, but that's just me. But there's chirping in the room when he starts talking about the Tech 9. The crowd starts getting antsy. He's putting out his bars. The crowd wasn't feeling it. You could see him getting frustrated. Then they fucking shut the lights down. Now, watching it on the pay-per-view, I was like, what the fuck? But from what I understand is this was supposed to replicate the band feel, the lights low. John okayed that shit. Smack didn't know what the fuck was going on, but Jack was rapping, but the shit just wasn't hitting. And then when he started chirping back and forth with the audience, I'll fuck your moms, or suck my dick, your mama, it just was just going in a bad direction for Jackboy. What was he talking about? He kept going back and forth with the hecklers. Shit just wasn't hitting. Then the nigga took his shirt off. I mean, it was just all bad. And the lows couldn't get any lower when the motherfucker started getting into it with a heckler. And then Jackboy jumps off the motherfucking stage and then jumps into the crowd trying to fight, I guess, the nigga who was talking shit in the crowd. So it was just all fucking bad. After that shit, the Boo Birds were motherfucking out. Twerk, Ryder, and motherfucking Drugs is in the fucking audience trying to get this nigga Jackboy back on the stage. He's ready to scrap a nigga. Fucking Rain jumping out there trying to calm the whole situation. It was just bad. It was just a horrible look. But and you got John in the background talking about, we better not see this nigga up here again. He asked for it. I mean, it was a 3-0 for John and Don with only 2 rounds. Motherfucking surfed the nigga 2 rounds. Lord the fuck knows what was in that 3rd round. Please, John, please. I don't know, put that shit in a shots fired, IGTV, something. I need to know, we all need to know what the fuck was gonna happen in that 3rd round. 3-0, John and Don over JAKKBOY MAINE. We are the Battlerap Society. I'm JoJodancer. See you at the next recap.